Okay, so somebody wanted me to do a video basically of how I edit my pictures in Photoshop. So I'm just gonna use this old picture just for comparison. I'm gonna open up the edited version that I already have. I just have to find it really quick because like I'm using a picture that I've already edited before just to like show that, and I don't feel like going and taking a picture. But I edited this a lot, not on purpose, just kind of happened. Um, but this is edited. It looks really fake. So I'm basically just going to use this to like re-edit it and show what I do, because I really don't do as much as everyone thinks that I do. So I'm just going to close this. The first thing that I do, oh crap, fucking, okay. I just open it, I make it to fit the window. I do actual size. Usually I will just go in and change the image size so that it's not as big. I'll usually change the height to about 2000 pixels. I'll do 2500. Come up here, and first thing after I resize it, the main thing that you're going to want to do first is just get rid of any blemishes. Like I've got a few down here, I've got like small ones. So I try and get rid of them. You can use whichever tool makes you happy. In Photoshop, I use the patch one. Works pretty good. Just drag it and it matches it pretty closely. So I don't really use the spot healing brush because that doesn't really work well. The patch tool is definitely my fave, so I try and use that. And it matches it. Doesn't really look like you've done anything. There's still a bit of a spot there. And then it's really easy to fix. Or like any red spots, like there's a pretty different colored one right there. I'll just match a different part of my cheek, get rid of this one. Over here. The only things I leave my birthmarks, because I like my birthmarks. Like I've got one here and I have one over here. And a lot in my pictures too, what people don't take into account, like another thing that they're like, oh, you edit it so much. I usually have on decent amount of makeup in my pictures, so let's zoom out and see how that looks. Now from far away you can tell the difference a little bit right here, but that's why I do this next part. Before I mess with like any of the coloring or anything, I go into filter and noise, reduce noise. And I usually will do this at a very high setting so that it makes it almost a little bit blurry. I zoom it out so that I can see what I'm doing. We're gonna just put everything on 0 to start, just so that we can like work our way up. And see, if you leave everything on 0, I don't know why the preview's not coming up. Oh, thank God. Alright, strength. We're gonna knock this up to, I'm gonna put it all the way up to 10. Now, because it's still such a big file, you really can't see that much of a difference in the noise reduction, but it does blur it a little bit. Like you can notice around here, like around like the sharp lines, they get blurred a little bit. Preserve details. I'm just going to leave all of this on 0 and hit OK, just because it's not really that much of a difference. I'll zoom out and see from far away. It looks a lot clearer already. Now, the next thing that I do, I will take usually either the lasso tool or the polygon lasso tool, whichever I'm feeling like. And now I only do this if my pores look huge in a picture. And even then, I don't really do this that much, because I don't edit my pictures as much as I used to, because I don't really care anymore. I just select everywhere where it's like bumpy Or my pores look kind of big. It's like up on my forehead a little bit's bumpy. In this picture at least. And you're going to hit Command C, Command V, copy it, paste it in a new layer. Then I go to Filter, Blur, I don't know how to say this, Gaussian Blur, but I do that, zoom it out. Radius, I usually think starts to like 3 or 4 maybe. Whoa, that's too much. Yeah, I think I do 4, but then I turn the opacity down so that it's not as obvious. See, like that's what it looks like without it. And that's how it originally was. Then I'll turn the opacity down to about 70, just so that it still looks like I've got some pores, they're just not as big. I'm going to flatten this, come in with this blur tool. Size is just basically base that off of however big your picture is. And I just blur like underneath of my eyes if it's a little bit like some lines and stuff. Just basically anywhere that like the noise reduction didn't correct, you're just going to want to blur it a little bit so that it looks not so pixelated. A little more on my cheeks right here, on my nose a little bit. On my forehead, under my eyes. I already did under this side, but I'll do it again. And that's basically all I do for my skin. And that's only if it looks really bad. So that's that. And then I just I mess with the lighting a little bit, or like the brightness and the contrast. I usually brighten it, not a ton, but like I do it enough so that, because I don't want to look too washed out. Put it on 35. And the contrast, I usually, depending on like the coloring in it, I'll usually bring it up or down. I think I'm going to bring it up in this. Now I look really yellow, so go to Image Adjustments, Hue Saturation, go to yellow, knock it down a little bit, bring the lightness up, and the reds are pretty harsh here too. Actually, you know what? I'm going to Command J, make a new layer. I'm going to work on this one, bottom layer. Actually, no, I'm going to work on the top layer. Image Adjustments, Hue Saturation, just turn everything down. So yeah, turn everything down. This video sucks, because no one really is going to care about this. And I think the only thing that I did, that like I left in this video, I know, like after I did that for this picture, I'm pretty sure I took the eraser and I just, my hair, I did this so that you can see my hair being colorful and stuff. I think that's about it though. It looks like shit. Oh, that's because it's not. Alright, there we go. That's better. Ah, that's better. And zoom that out. So my hair looks cool. I'll just flatten this. Then I go to Image Adjustments and I turn up the saturation just a little bit, not a whole lot. Usually we'll bring the yellows back down again because my bathroom's yellow, so it always makes me look a little yellow. The lightness, and then the reds. Usually we'll turn them up a little bit, makes my lips look redder, but you're gonna knock the lightness down. And that's about it. And then I go to Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Masking, just to make it not look so blurry. That's good. Just image size. Then I usually make it whatever, I think like 500 pixels wide. And that's really it. Now I'm gonna save this and compare it to the original. Open. Here's the original now. Just as a comparison. I know this is actual pictures. And that's really, honestly, all I really do. I don't do a ton, like for the most part, because I don't want to look that fake. I don't think there's anything wrong with just a little bit of editing, but because cameras aren't perfect. But yeah, that's about it. So leave me alone now.